Success Podcast with Frank, Jalil, and we got special guest Dr. Z Tripp in the building.
Thanks for having me. I'm good. Glad to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
Love
Appreciate you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
For sure.
We're a little delayed right now. Get the studio back together, but we're here now.
Looks good. Feels good.
Awesome. So, Lil, get into a little bit. Like, I'm sure you told you prepped you beforehand, but
Yeah, so typically
You said no prep.
No prep.
Just no prep. Show up.
All organic, man.
That's a good prep. I like that.
So typically we start off like where you were born, where you from,
Okay.
and a couple different adversities that you had to overcome to get to the point that you're at now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was born. We lived in Germantown, Baton and Tulpehocken. We lived there for probably the first 8-9 years of my life.
Okay. Siblings, or just you and your parents?
No siblings, just me and my mom.
Okay.
And our neighbors, sometimes they would we would rent space to them because we had a lot of space there. You know, those old Germantown houses.
Germantown houses are huge.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
And I drove back there not too long ago, and in my head, the yard was like a whole football field, and now I look at it as an adult, and it's like, it's a little yard, but it was nice.
For a Philly row home, it was.
Yeah, for sure. Had a lot of outdoor space.
So you said just your mom, right?
Yep.
And if you don't mind me asking, where was your father at?
Just not in the picture. Single mom, a whole life. She was great. She's awesome. She still is.
It's a blessing.
So a lot of love for her. Huge reason I'm here where I'm at today. So, moved to Fairmount when I was 8 or 9. So different style of neighborhood, smaller houses. Everything was really packed in terms of like, more people, just being close together.
How you adapt to that?
It was good. It was definitely different. Much different environment.
Okay.
I would say that Germantown, even though, we have friends on the block, right? Everybody was tight. It still felt like big, wide open.
Yeah, for anybody that's not listed that don't know, these are just smaller Philadelphia neighborhoods that just have different vibes. The houses are a little bit different style houses, different style of living in each neighborhood.
For sure.
But
basically, so Dr. Z from Uptown, all in all.
That's true. Absolutely. Yes.
But it felt bigger up there. It was didn't feel more concealed like you were in Fairmount.
Exactly. And then there was like different neighborhoods right next to each other in Fairmount. Maybe people who didn't necessarily get along as well, and it just felt a little more tight. But it was good. And lived there pretty much until 18, 19. And
so were you there before the boom in Fairmount, or like as it was happening?
I would definitely before, and then I don't know what year it really happened, but it felt like I don't know how older Philly neighborhood felt, and then started seeing changes probably maybe 8 years after, something like that. Yeah.
So younger people you don't really know, not a lot of family oriented.
I would say
after the boom.
After the boom, just people like you could just like they look around like
Lost.
like oh, this is interesting. What's this? I don't know. Whereas a lot of people who lived there for many generations, it was just this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what it is. Just kind of going about life where it almost looked like spectators like kind of coming in and looking around. So it was.
So you went through basically 2 different transitions in one move, from Germantown to Fairmount, and then the new Fairmount.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. For sure. And now that's where I work too. So.
You work in Fairmount.
Technically Brewery Town, but
I was looking.
We were talking about that earlier. Yeah. How all these neighborhoods have these names now, right? So. 27th and Gerard, Brewery Town Chiropractic is my practice.
That's right on the border anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was definitely, you have Fairmount, North Philly, Francisville, all kind of right in that little pocket. And definitely was surprised about how much tension there was, between those different areas when I moved there, when, people think of Uptown as like, crazy or whatever, but it was like a lot of love too between all the neighbors and different people there.
So in Brewery Town and Fairmount was a little tension.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely for sure when I first moved there, and that was surprising.
So how was school for you though? Like, what were you? Are you like a class clown? Were you serious?
What school did you go to?
So yeah. So I'll say school definitely was something that helped me. My mom, she was very into like education. Like even if she got home late, we were whatever. Like make sure you do your work. So that was really really important. And I was blessed to be, school was okay for me. Like, like doing the work made sense, like things like that.
And what school was this again?
Beach Martin. So it was basically just the school in Fairmount.
Like a neighborhood school.
Yeah, just like the neighborhood public school you go to.
Dang, I'm not familiar with that. I never heard of it.
And you're a couple neighborhoods
That's
over.
Crazy. Yeah.
Right? Strawberry Mansion.
Well, like you said, there's so many pockets inside of Philly. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're A and B student, B and C?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think my mom, I was blessed, the school made sense to me. So I was doing good right out the gate, like just really getting good grades. And that
what was the diversity like in the schools? Like, obviously, grade school, middle school, high school. Was it like a mixed cultures or mixed races, or was it predominantly white?
So Beach was predominantly black, and there was definitely a lot of Latino people there too, because Francisville, there was a lot of Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and Fairmount was Irish white. So I would say it was diverse, but yeah, I was probably a minority in that school, in that setting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You said a lot of Spanish and Dominican. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's totally different now. That's crazy.
Well, like I'm trying to think of something that you would know around there, like the prison, right? The Eastern State Pen, not that one. As soon as I said it out of my mouth, I knew you were gonna take that differently. But Eastern State, where they have the haunted house, right?
Yeah.
So on the other side of that is a whole other neighborhood, Francisville.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And Beach is the school for both neighborhoods.
Okay, Francisville and Fairmount.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have any issues running at school for your skin color, or did you keep to yourself?
Well, also I had red hair too, so that made me stand out.
You would get the jokes?
Even more. Jokes, fine, whatever, it was all good. Zach with the gold hair or whatever, it was, but, they would make fun, but, honestly, it was something that probably, was another blessing, something that helped me out too, just feel different, know that I was different. Mm-hmm. Things that I think can be helpful for people.
And it's normal in Philadelphia too. It's like everyone gets joked on. Like,
oh yeah,
you can't
for
take
sure.
it personal.
For sure. No, not at all. Not at all.
Trust me, I know what you went through. I was fat. Forever, so.
I didn't know that, bro. I didn't know that shit. That's crazy. I didn't know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's crazy. So what? Up to 19, you said you stayed there, lived there.
Did you have real quick? Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going through high school, did you have plans for like education after high school, or were you just like, I'll see what happens when it comes?
No. So for high school, I went to high school in the suburbs. This guy, Dave Hardy, my friend's dad, he now owns a school, or he opened a school called Boys Latin, where he helps a lot of people, get into a better school. But before that opened, he would help people go to like different schools out in the suburbs. So I went to a school called Haverford School. This is like, I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's like all boys, shirt, jacket, and tie.
Like a private school?
Private, yes, like
Is
the
that
like the
like
private
towards
school of all private
It's like
schools.
By mainline a little bit.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
Pitt City Ave.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yep, Haverford School. So,
Okay.
so yeah, everybody in that school was definitely very focused on college, career, sports. Like it was highly competitive, like everything, all the way to the max for sure.
Sports.
Yep, sports
played
too.
sports?
Yep, sports. So, again, sports, school. Lucky for me, those were things that were just came by pretty easy for me. So that really helped me out. So he saw me do those things, and he helped me get into that school, Haverford School.
Were you still living in Fairmount when you were going there though?
Yep. So I would take the R5 or whatever it is from Suburban Station out to the main line every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was it like going out there to have it for every day, like seeing those? Because you just said in Fairmount, as we all know, the houses are smaller and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And seeing those big houses out there, and stuff
Even
like
the
that.
culture is different, obviously.
Seriously,
it's
the
crazy
air
different.
is different, bro. More trees. Seriously, like.
Oh, it was crazy. It was another shocker, right?
Yeah.
Right. So there was a few other kids like me. We would take the train out from the city out there, and that was helpful. But again, just I think being exposed to more stuff is always good. Even if it is a shock, even if it is uncomfortable, those are usually good things that help you. Even if it's not a good fit for you, just seeing,
What's possible, what's out there.
exactly. Yep. So
Expand your horizon.
yeah, so I was definitely like grumpy taking the train, spending hours commuting, but I'm so happy for it.
Yeah.
It showed you another side of living.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That was a blessing, bro. Because I know a lot of those schools out there, like the tuition, be like $40,000 a year for the 9th grade and stuff
it
like
is.
that.
And you got a free ride.
Yeah, scholarship.
It's a blessing, bro.
Yeah, 100%. And I was mad. My mom said, "You got to go here. They gave you." I'm like, I don't want to go here. I want to go to school with my friends. I want to do all that. But at the end of the day, I had to take that opportunity, and it helped change my life.
And you said take that opportunity, but at the time you didn't know it was an opportunity. Now you can say that.
I think somewhere I knew, like in my head, I wanted to go to apply to these schools and see which one I go to the best school, and then it happened, and then I'm like, shit, I just want to hang out with my friends now. I gotta actually do it, and we did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what college did you end up going to and why?
So I would say, I was definitely tired through high school. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of travel, getting a little burnt out. So I was still kind of getting by on just being able to be just naturally talented at school and sports. But I started to fizzle. I went to school in New York, Ithaca, New York. And I knew I wanted to definitely get outside the city for sure. So that was something I wanted to do.
So wait, did you move up to New York?
Yep.
At what, 19 years old?
17.
17 years old, you moved up to New York.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big city. It's a big jump.
So it's like the mountains, right?
So New York State.
Yep, New York
Okay.
State. Yep. So
Got
it's like a college town. There's 2 colleges, and then there's not really anything else around it. It's just like kind of the
The
middle of
economy
nowhere.
feeds off of them colleges in that
Exactly,
area.
100%. Yep, they're the main businesses in the town.
So how long were you there for?
4 years.
4 years. You
Yep.
did your whole 4 years.
4 years. Yep. And then
What do you think, real quick,
yeah.
academically, the biggest thing you learned, and then like in life, what do you think you learned just from that experience alone?
So I was burnt out. I was like,
Going through motions. At
yeah,
that point?
just like not making it to class. Stop going to practices, sports, all that stuff. And pretty much they said, okay, we're taking away your scholarship. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And I would say I was sneaking by on what I could do, but I didn't understand hard work yet. And you can't get by on just talent forever. Eventually, it's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah.
And it did. And then that's when kind of the switch flipped, and I started learning about how to put in work and stop relying on my natural talent.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically showing up and being disciplined
Yep.
and applying yourself.
And learning what can happen if you don't.
Yeah. Did you go to college for you, or did you do it to make your mom happy?
I definitely wanted to get away from where I was at. Definitely wanted to do that. So I would say that was a big motivator for me, even though I was feeling like, tired and like I said, burnt out. I knew that, okay, I gotta get to a next step somewhere else. And I would say that was a big motivator for me for sure.
That's what's up.
So what was your major in college?
I studied sociology and anthropology, which basically means nothing. Really not knowing what I wanted to do other than see the world, leave Philly a little bit. And after, I went through the issue where they took all my stuff away, pretty much expelled me, went through all the process to reactivate and everything. And I was taking a class and a chiropractor came in. And at that point, I was ready to find something. I didn't really have a path, right? So I was looking for something, and he came in, talked about his lifestyle, how he was able to help people, the life he was able to build. And, it clicked. It was just like right time, right place. Let's see, probably 19, 20.
And it clicked then.
Maybe 21, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, I would say that going from like having, things relatively easier, right? And, having a good reputation and just kind of skating by and then losing that, right? It kind of was like, all right, I felt that. I don't want to feel that again. I want to get back on track.
Wake up call.
Yeah, for sure.
So you went from sociology and anthropology.
Yeah.
So after you got your bachelor's for that, or what?
Yep. You get a BA, but I basically transferred most of the stuff I was studying to sciences, right? So you can take other classes along with it. CCP in the summertime. Just trying to get everything going. I was ready. I was ready to go.
You had to do a whole nother 4 years after that, right?
Yep. Another 4 years.
Yeah. School after that.
Yeah. So that was a lot, right? And I'm happy where I'm at, but it was a lot, and that was really hard. That was a challenge. Chiropractic school is crazy hard. We get education that's comparable to medical school, so that was definitely a grind. That was one of the first times I felt like really, really challenged.
Is that for 4 years of basically chiropractic school, medical school?
Yep. So they divide it up where the first year you learn pretty much everything you can about the human body. Second year you learn all the things that go wrong with it. Third year you learn how to fix it, and then the fourth year you practice it. So you're in clinic, you're in rotation.
Yeah. So that's like what, like your apprentice or?
Yep. Exactly. Yep. So I did my rotation in Long Island, New York.
Intern.
Yep. Because that was the closest place to Philly.
Now, during an internship, you didn't get paid, or you did?
No, I worked as like a receptionist in other chiropractic offices.
Just to be around the business, right?
Yeah, to be around the business, learn it, have some money, that type of stuff.
What kept you going for you to be able to finish the other 4 years? After you just went through trying to skate past the first 4 years and then finally putting the work in, and it's like, I reached this fourth year. Now I got to do another 4 years. What kept you going through that?
And let me add on too, real quick. Were there any times that you felt like quitting?
I would say to Jalil's question that I didn't even feel like I really did the first few years. I feel like I wasted it. I felt like I was wasting opportunity, wasting time.
Chasing them girls, man.
Having a good time, having some fun. But
you were young. You were a kid.
Yeah. And so the next 4 years really felt like, almost like the first four where I was actually putting in hard work. And did I ever feel like giving up was your question?
Yeah.
I can say no. I really never felt like I was going to give up, honestly. Like you have those questions, I guess, in your head. But it never felt like real to me. Like no, I'm not going to give up.
Yeah, you were locked in.
Yeah, for sure, locked in for sure.
So what were you thinking when, you go through your apprenticeship or your internship, whatever? And what are you thinking for career path? Am I going to work? Are you thinking business? Are you thinking working for someone else? Are you thinking?
I never wanted to even be like a business owner, right? So I thought that after getting the degree, I did it. It was done. I got the degree. Yeah. I'm a doctor of chiropractic. It's over. My life is set again. And that was not the case at all. Not at all. No, you definitely have to. It's basically just the start. It's not the end at all. Yeah.
You made it to the beginning.
Yeah, made it to the beginning. Exactly. I got another lotto ticket. Right. I wasted the first one and was lucky enough to be able to come back and get a second one.
What made you decide to start your own business, to be a business owner?
So I was fresh out of school. I was calling around trying to get other jobs. I reached out to Dr. Neil Liebman, one of my favorite mentors. He's the chiropractor for the Sixers. He took me under his wing. He was awesome, great guy. I still talk to him. A lot of admiration for him, clearly. And he, he was asking about bringing me on, and we liked working together. But a couple things. One, I had a young daughter at the time. She was 3 or 4 when I started my business. Okay. So I wanted some flexibility around that. Being a single parent, trying to make sure I could handle those duties as well. And I knew that he was in New Jersey. He was working for the Sixers. There was lots of resources there. I knew I wanted to come back to my neighborhood and be able to provide some of the stuff I spent so much time learning and these skills I acquired, and really give it back to the community that helped raise me.
Nice. Did you were you an employee at some point before you jumped into being a business owner? You worked for other practices and stuff?
Yep, I worked for him, and then I would do like sub jobs for like auto care clinics. Like, so you get a car accident, you got to go do the therapy.
You're getting contracts from them.
Yeah, pretty much like being a contractor for them.
And now, did you have your own space at this time, or were you like renting something out, or working in someone else's facility and they were letting you use it? How was that?
So I was working in other spaces, and then trying to stack up, look for something that would be all right. And I was looking between Chestnut Hill Chiropractor, Fishtown Chiropractor, and Brewerytown Chiropractor. Chestnut Hill Chiropractor, the guy who owned it, actually passed away, and that got a little messy. So I was deciding between Fishtown and Brewerytown, right? And I was walking by, on 26th and Girard, where my old office was, and an old doctor's office shut down. And I was like, all right, let me check this out. Yeah, let me check this out. Funny story, I was hanging out with my friend. His name's Greg Chandler. We were just talking. I was like, I want to show you something. Tell me what you think about it. So we walked over to the office, and I was like, I'm thinking about renting this out. He's like, you're joking, right? So what do you mean? And the name of the office was Chandler's Medical Group, and I had no idea. So he was like, it's my name right here. And I was like, all right, this is it.
Sign. That was a sign.
It's a good sign. It was literally the sign. It was on the sign, Chandler Medical Group. So, but, it wasn't the nicest space, which was good because I could build it out a little bit, and
could afford it.
I could afford it, exactly. So pretty much jumped straight in, and that was, again, another start where I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how much I didn't know, but happy I got started.
So it seems like all your starts are necessary for the next level, right? So you went to school, you went back to school, started your own business. So all these starts are really just like basically necessary to get you to where you're at today.
100%, yeah, and not knowing what you don't know.
And I'm going to still Lil's question real quick. What do you think the next start might be for you?
So Jalil was in the office the other day. He asked me, what's your definition of success, right? So I said helping as many people as possible feel good, hit their wellness journey, health goals, all that stuff. So I'm starting to realize that now the way that I can do that even more is by, teaching other people what I know, right? So training other chiropractors in my practice and training other chiropractors across the country on how to treat people, how to run a business, how to take really good care of people and how to take good care of themselves, because it was definitely a learning process that I'm still working on.
Yeah.
But you can help someone else out that's just starting.
Exactly.
What you know.
Yeah, exactly. I want to help other people out. I want to train them, and to see more. I can only see so many patients in a day, right? But if I help other people, be excellent at their craft, I'm still reaching more and more and more people. You have an
effect on it too, and then that other person's getting help even though it ain't from you.
Exactly.
So basically, development and leadership. It sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely next for me.
So you found your office. Had your good friend's name on the outside. That was your sign. That was your sign. Did you start off the way it was? Because now it looks nice.
Yeah.
So did you just start off and, like, for anybody's listening, how did you do? Did you redo everything and then you did it as you went?
So we almost like turned it into like a shell, like like it was not really nice. So we put like a drop ceiling that was hanging down, like laminate floors, carpet. So like whatever was outside, like what you were looking at was not great. So, and I didn't understand, like you said, you walk into my office now, right? Looks nice, feels good. I didn't understand the importance of like the environment, right? People walk in, they need to know like, this is where I'm supposed to be from the minute they walk in the door. And I didn't know that. And I definitely had to get feedback from people like, you got to, you know, clean this up, get your papers in order. Like this, you know.
It's their first impression. They're walking in before they're even meeting you. They're getting the vibe of the environment that they're in.
100%. Yep. And it seems obvious now, but at the time, these is just one of the, you know, a million things that, you know, you don't think about, right? You just think, okay, I'm a chiropractor now.
So let me take it back to like a contract and construction standpoint, like the guy with a truck, right?
Yeah.
He just throws a magnet, or he don't even got a magnet. He's pulling up to the estimate in a beat down truck.
Yeah.
But then you got the guy in a wrap vehicle. It's nice. He's professional. He got his contractor license number on it. It's like, all right, this guy's a little bit more professional. This guy might even do better work, but this guy's coming more professional and prepared, it seems like. And he looks like he has a little bit more experience even.
Yep. And now I would look, like now I know that. I know what to look for, right? So I would say, okay, I see these two trucks. I understand where each of these people are at.
Yeah, but the point of my question was just so our viewers
Why
can
you whispering?
see. I'm not. I didn't want to clear my throat 'cause in the microphone. I didn't want to
It's
hear
late,
your
you
mouth.
know?
Yeah. But
This guy had a long day lifting bricks.
Probably got brick dust in his nostrils.
Shut up, man. So the point of my
I did
be
demo.
quiet, man.
I remember that. I did some demo.
What else you put in your nostrils? But the point of my question was to our viewers that's watching.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just start, right?
Yeah. Just start 100%.
Everybody want to wait until everything is just like just start.
Yep.
Like you just started your business and worked it out as you went.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That was the point of my question, like so people could see, like just start whatever you're trying to do and work it out as you go. Figure it out. Everything's gonna fall in place. Everybody think that you just need the big bright shining sign and it looks nice. Like, just start and look where you started at with the drop ceiling, the laminate floor.
Yep.
Now I go in there, it's nice. I can play Pac-Man if I want to. Ninja Turtles, you got the games, everything in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a process.
And that wouldn't have came if I started, 2 years ago. It wouldn't be where it's at today.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point, though. Just because I said about a nice truck versus the beat up truck, whatever, at least just start though.
Yeah.
Like don't wait till you have the fully wrapped truck. Still get out there and put your reps in anyway and build off of that.
Yeah.
But that's an excellent point to just start. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't worry about other people will look at it and downplay it and say it's small and that's, but you having one thing is more than somebody having nothing, right? So definitely getting started.
It's the vision too, right? So like you got to start taking steps towards the vision. And the only one that's probably going to say something is somebody that's not doing nothing anyway.
Yeah.
Who's going to criticize you, because 9 times out of 10, people that understand where you're at in that journey went through that journey, so they get it.
And they want to help you. And as soon as you start helping yourself, I'm sure we've all heard this, more people want to help you, right? If they see you trying, it's like the person on the side of the car or side of the road where they're trying to fix the tire. Somebody's going to stop and this person's really trying to do it. I want to teach them. Yeah.
People will invest in people that are investing in themselves.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to feel like they're pouring into nothing, but they're pouring into someone that's also pouring into themselves. It's like, all right.
Definitely. Definitely.
Right. That's nice. So, how many years have you been in business now?
Coming up on year 10. So January 2026 will be year 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did your mom feel when you told her that you were starting a business? I know she plays a big part of your life.
Yeah. I guess we went really far into the present and skipped a lot of that. But she was when I told her I was going to chiropractic school, she was like, "What? What is that?" Because back in the day, chiropractors really had a different reputation than they do now. So she's like, I don't know about that one. Like, but being the great mom that she is, she supported me. Even when I got out of school, she was still like, I don't know about this, but she came in, she got the treatment, used her insurance, helped out any way she could. So, she was not crazy about it at first.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody was really like, oh, that's a good idea.
How does she feel now?
Oh, she's great. You know, she's super proud, tells everybody about it, shows the pictures in the page and everything. So that feels really good.
Dr. Z, what are some, or at least one that you can remember, compliment that you got after, you help somebody out that you won't forget? And it's because those things mean more than the money, obviously. Like when you get them good compliments, like that fills you for real.
Yeah.
Not just like the money that comes with it. Do you remember any of them compliments or comments you got?
You know, I think chiropractic has been so helpful for so many people. You start to see it like all the time. Those first few times, like, oh, I can walk now. I can play sports. I can hang out with my kids.
I seen it in the mirror after you cracked me. I feel like
I ain't gonna lie. The whole time I said when we go to this podcast, I'm setting up an appointment. I swear to God.
Hey, I can do it. We can do it on the camera right here. I can give you an adjustment. But
all right, I pay you.
I would say now to me, it's like when other people in the community see me helping the community. Those are really like things that keep me locked in because. I don't want to downplay the one-on-one with the patient. I love it. But I think it's time to kind of hit a new level. So initially those first compliments from the patient, like, oh, you helped me. That helps me do more and more and more of that. Now something that's motivating me is lifting the reputation of chiropractic, lifting the chiropractic community, health and wellness in Philadelphia. We need it.
Yeah. So it all plays into that one customer. It trickles down, right? If you have a good chiropractor community, if you have a good regular community where you're from and you're playing a part in the health and wellness, it trickles down to that one. And that's why you want to build a team, you said, or help people.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. So those are always good motivating comments, right? And even to just have, you all reach out, Jalil reached out and said, I like what you're doing. I see you're collabing, you're helping people out. So even that, right, it brought me here today. So those are good. Those are motivating, right?
Yeah. When you pour good into the world, you get good back. Like people that are in their situation and they're blaming everyone else, or they're not even trying to be good people because they're saying everyone's out to get me, or the world sucks, people are evil. Well, that's how they view the world. That's not how the world is.
Yeah.
Like there is people out there that are sick and don't have good intentions, but I feel like you see the reflection of the world as yourself.
Well, it's hard to change that. It's really, really hard. And not to say that I was never like that, right? At one point I might have been like, oh, it's everybody else's fault, all that stuff. So I understand that those people exist, and tapping into those people is motivating because I do believe that they can get better and feel better. And when they feel better, they're not going to be so angry at everybody.
Yeah, seriously.
Whining.
Seriously.
I hate the complainers. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing about your situation besides complaining about it?
Yeah.
That's what irritates me.
It's hard to just flip that switch until something happens. I know.
And then you got to have patience too, right? Because it's not going to happen overnight. So if they do for something for a couple months, they don't get results. It's, they're getting blackballed, or this isn't for me, or they're playing the victim.
Yeah.
It's a pain, and someone might get luckier than you. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just put more reps in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's definitely hard to get out of that mentality, right? So, we've been lucky enough to have something that changed our view on things, right? So, and I think that, other people can have that switch flipped too, and that's definitely something that motivates me to keep going.
For sure. That's the point of the podcast. Like, right? We want the switch to flip for somebody.
Yeah.
Like we're at the age, me and Jalil, and even you're like.
We're not the
37.
same age. You 45, bro. I'm 33.
So why do you look 55? Like, how are you younger than me but look older than me?
I don't.
Look in the camera right now. Look in that camera right now.
No, you look older.
But we're at that age where we're still young enough to get through to the younger generation, and then even the older generation that gave up or lost hope or something.
Yeah.
We're still like right there. So, our gift and our intention to this podcast is try to reach out to both, right? Like try to show possibilities, bring people on that have stories that overcame stuff, that have businesses that never, thought they could have a business. You didn't even want to go in business.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
So, and it's not even about the business, right? It's like your mission in life now, your goals.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be a business owner to live a good life.
No. Yeah, absolutely. And that was going to be my question. Do you feel like you're trying to reach people who are our age, who maybe, are still looking for something, or do you feel like you're more trying to catch people at the younger age, trying to educate them before they have to go through like a really, really tough learning lesson? And maybe everybody just has to go through that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think for us it's both. Everybody learn go off at a different time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people might go off at like you did when you were in college. You were young. Some people might
go to jail 5
have
times.
to wait. Yeah, or might have to wait till they're 60 years old to their alarm to finally go off. Yeah, I think everybody's different. Nobody's the same.
Like you would love, like in an ideal world, you would love to catch, the younger ones before, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not that much suffering by the time they get to the time, the switch goes off. So like ideally, we would love to get to the young guys, but we're here for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you already messed up 25 times, there's still a possibility to change, right?
Yeah.
It's a mindset. It's an environment type of thing.
That's true. And helping the people who are older only changes the environment and the what younger people look at, right? They see older people who are doing good things. So you're really reaching everybody, which is great. And I like the logo too, right? I don't know if you meant to do this, but I like that it's the street, right? Obviously, streets of success coming out of the streets, but it's a map, like it's a roadmap, you're showing people the way, right? So that's why I really like the logo too. So
yeah, that's kind of a story behind it. Was some people, the road to success or it's the streets of success for us. Like we both grew up in the streets of Philadelphia and went to prison. Like, and obviously people that come on this podcast have all different stories, all type of adversities, all type of businesses.
Yep.
But for us, like that's what it was for. And it's just to highlight the positivity, right? Like we're going to sit here and talk about you messing up in school or somebody else getting locked up. But in all reality, it's, where you at now? What did you overcome now? What can you actually, while I got you, what can you tell somebody younger now that feels like giving up, or they're in college and they're like, I don't know how this guy stuck through. I'm ready to leave in year one.
Yeah, I would say.
Go ahead.
People drop out. You know how many people drop out of college?
Yeah, I dropped out of college.
Yeah,
I went to CCP to try to stay closer to home, and it was like high school.
Even people we had on the podcast.
Like a bunch of people. So
it's tough, and it happens for so many reasons. I think some people are just like kind of burnt out, like they don't know, they don't know how to process all the stuff that they've seen growing up or what they're feeling, and then trying to handle, what you're supposed to do next in life when you didn't really, finish, processing everything that happened in the first part of life. It's just it becomes too much, and you don't know where you're going, and you just feel like it's a waste. But continuing to push is never a waste. Even if you're in the wrong thing, at least you're going to rule that thing out, and then you're going to find the next thing. So I also think a lot of it is maybe it's looked as not a good thing, right? Sometimes like people want to be accepted, right? So sometimes, especially in Philly, like you got to be tough. You got to have been going through this. You got to have, had this tough upbringing or whatever it is. So maybe some people, they don't go that route because they feel like they're not going to be accepted by their peers for taking that route. And that's definitely something that you got to...
They'll call you a square or a nerd or goody boy, something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely something
That's crazy how doing something positive can make you feel like you're getting looked down on.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Seriously. I feel like that's even like that with this pod. Like we preach like, yo, do good, and you know what I'm saying? Highlight people's stories and stuff like that. But then we're not really promoting the drama and the BS.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're getting traction, but it's going to take us a little longer, but we're still pushing. Like
People
you
love
said,
negativity. That's why.
Yeah. So I would say, just, if other people are, getting at you for, oh, you had this advantage or you had that advantage, like, so what? Take it, take it no matter what, because you're only, you're going to have this advantage and you're going to waste it. You're taking it in vain, right? So you taking that advantage is only going to help lift everybody up.
Well, and another thing is, too, it's nothing wrong with having an advantage, first and foremost.
Exactly.
There's something wrong with not capitalizing on the advantage. And then secondly, that person that's saying, oh, you had an advantage, this and that, are they even going to be around in your life in 10, 15 years anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't take advantage of that opportunity, or if you don't use that to your, benefit, you're going to still hang around this guy that's joking with you in 5, 10, 15 years? Probably not anyway.
Yeah.
Or if you do, then you're going to be right there where he's at,
Yep.
being negative.
Yep. And there's definitely a lot of people that will try to pull you back down to make themselves, feel comfortable about why they're not where they want to be, not where you're at, but where they somewhere inside them want to be.
Yeah.
We definitely all face those, so ignore that.
When you like go into your office and it's where you grew up at,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like a sense of accomplishment? Like, do you have them moments like, damn, I'm doing this and I brought it back?
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act because I don't want to be in the same mindset I was when I was 14, 15, doing knucklehead stuff around there, right? So I walk to my office, I might see the same street corner that I remember, oh, this thing happened there, right? But really what in the good old days, right? But I don't want my mind there. I want my mind on the next thing. So I really try to just focus on, okay, what's going on now? What can I do next? And maybe I don't take enough time to think about that. It's a really good question. I got to reflect on that one.
Yeah, well, you're even able to catch that too. Like, I don't want to think about the good old days
because it brings you back to old. Even if it's not something like consciously, like you might start thinking about something. You might start changing your posture. Just like bring yourself back when you really want to be.
You might throw on Get Rich or Die Trying on your phone.
This is some old music, yeah, for sure.
I got a question. Did you with going to college, with growing up in that neighborhood, was like drugs or alcohol or marijuana, was any of those things like in your life, or did you test it? Did you try it? Were you like mentally strong enough to stay away from it?
No, I was definitely not mentally strong when I was younger. I definitely had to learn that when I got older. Like I said, I got by on luckily I was blessed with some talent, right, in school and sports. So that really allowed me to, kind of just skate by when, a lot of the people who were doing some of the same stuff I was,
fell a little short.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
you fell into it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. All the stuff that, everybody's doing out on the streets in Philly, having a good time, causing ruckus, all that stuff. So, and those I look back at them as good times. It was just a part of the process.
Yeah. But some people aren't mentally strong enough to get out of it.
That's true. That's true.
So
that's true.
That's good for you though, because it takes one time using one substance to really derail you. I've seen it.
Especially in Philly.
Yeah.
Especially in
so
Philly.
accessible.
It's so easy to sink as well.
And that goes back to what I was saying before is, something that might have caught me up at times that I think catches a lot of people up is when you're in the same place and other people, you're doing similar things and it catches up to them way more than it catches up to you. You might feel like, all right, I don't deserve to go better. I don't deserve to take advantage of, these opportunities or what it may be, or these people are not going to accept me if I continue to grow. Right. Yeah. So, I think that's a big reason that a lot of people do get caught up and don't break the cycle, don't flip the switch.
Yeah. It's comfortable to them. It's the normal at the time.
And they feel, and you can feel guilty too. Like, why is this happening for me? Right.
Yeah.
But accepting that is your gift, this is what you're doing. And then when you get there, you give back.
Yeah. I got a question. Not a question. Well, yeah, it is a question. Can you explain to people how your procedures help them not only physically but mentally? Because people might think it's only a physical thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How does your procedures help them mentally as well?
That's a great question. So we talked a lot about being stuck, being in the cycle, waiting for something to flip the switch, right? Mm-hmm. So chiropractic, we focus on the nervous system, right? Mm-hmm. Our nervous system remembers everything that happened in our life, all the traumas, everything. And, it's what's going to dictate what we do from our day-to-day life. It's like riding a bike, right? All these things are just programmed, how we walk, how we sit, how we talk. So when we do chiropractic work, the muscle work and the actual chiropractic adjustment, it can change the input into your nervous system, the signaling into your nervous system, all right? It doesn't last forever, right? It's just a moment. It's fleeting, right? But it is literally breaking the cycle of the same signals going into your nervous system over and over and over again. Now, if you go back to doing the same stuff you were doing before, you're going to feel the same way that you did.
Yeah.
But it is an opportunity to feel different.
Okay.
Okay, I got a question
That's
too.
deep.
Would you wear that hat with those shoes outside?
You know, when I was 17, 18,
With the
these
Jordans,
days,
it's
if I got to
cool.
get the job done, you know, he came from doing demo work to the podcast,
He's grinding.
had shoes on, but he still showed up, you know,
Yeah.
and knew he was probably going to catch some jokes from you
He
guys.
probably would have came barefooted. I ain't gonna lie. He
Yeah.
would have came barefooted,
I
and
had to
them
get
clothes
it.
are ashy. I seen him when we was upstate. But no, what my real question is, how does physical therapy tie into a chiropractor, right? Because if you're getting a car accident or an injury, is it like a step of physical therapy then chiropractor, or is it all what the doctor like prescribes you?
So a lot of it is preference, and a lot of it depends on the person. You spoke about car accidents, right? So you're likely going to get referred somewhere. Physical therapy has to do, and there is some clash between PT and chiro historically. I don't agree with it. I think they're both amazing. Whatever helps people is great. So chiropractic traditionally is more hands-on, more working on the spine, more working on adjustments. Where PT traditionally is more like teaching people how to move, teaching them exercises, stretches, right? But there's some chiros who will do a lot of that, and there's some PTs who will be more hands-on. So it really crosses over. The way I explain it to people is chiro means hand. So the word translates to provider from the hand. So basically I'm using my hands in natural medicine to help people. I'll use things like nutrition, posture, mindfulness, stress management, sleep, whatever I can tap into that's not drugs or surgery just because it's outside my scope.
Okay, so I had a physical therapist
Yeah.
talk to me about it, and he was basically breaking it down like chiropractor deals with like joints and bones, and a physical therapist deals more with muscles. Does that sound right?
So we do when a joint isn't moving right, it's gonna your body has to process that, right? So you sprain your ankle, right? It hurts, right? Your body has to tell you it hurts, so that you don't just keep walking on that sprained ankle over and over again and make it worse, right? So that's a signal from your joint to your brain saying it's not working, right? So what we try to do is correct the way the joints work, and what that does is allows you to live without all that signaling from your nervous system, and that's traditional chiropractic. But again, it just means provider from the hand. So just like, maybe one barbershop cuts different styles of hair, one restaurant cooks different types of food. The field of chiropractic has so much variety in it. And I know chiropractors who are way more like physical therapists. It's really just the degree you get, whichever one you go for.
Could it also be like subjective to whatever your injury is or whatever your issue is? The style that the chiropractor will go with?
So I would say maybe somebody who's recovering from like an ACL tear, right? They need somebody to teach them how to exercise and rehab. And I think of that as like a traditional physical therapy thing.
Okay.
Where if somebody's having like headaches, tension, stress, can't sleep, that's more of a traditional chiropractic thing where we're taking tension out, taking pressure off the nervous system.
I got one.
Yeah.
What about, which I have, this is how I got the conversation to this. So I was doing work for an investor, but full-time he's a physical therapist, and I mentioned like my sciatica nerve acts up probably every couple months. It'll start acting up on me, walk a little uncomfortable, taking ibuprofens.
Yep.
And then I mentioned like, should I go to a chiropractor or should I do a physical therapist?
Yeah.
He said chiropractors are good to go to, but long-term physical therapy would be better so it don't keep happening as far as like this. Because he told me what happens is the nerve slips because my muscle isn't strong enough to support that, whatever that bone or spine is. And that's correct?
So, yes, you're correct that you do need to be stronger long term, right? And that's something that a lot of chiropractors will do, right? So
Either you after you do your adjustment, you'll say, "Hey Frank, I know we just did this, but you need to continue to do this, this, and this." Like you're prescribing them a regimen or some type of.
Oh yeah, we're definitely giving prescription for exercises to do. Maybe certain lifestyle things that you're choosing that are causing your body to be inflamed. Yeah, nutrition. Sleep, stress. Jalil was talking about environment. What's in your environment? Are you hanging around dust, mold? There's. Everybody's so different and why they're hurting, right? And getting to the understanding of what's going on with this person is really, I would say, the main skill, because once you understand why they're hurting, the way to fix it is like obvious.
Yeah, you got to diagnose the person first.
Exactly.
And the issue. What
That's deep.
that does. Well, chiropractic, I just automatically think of cracking, right? I just think that's the first thing I think of.
100%.
Does that cause inflammation?
No, it actually has been shown to decrease inflammation. So after you get an
remember when you're a kid, they were, don't crack your knuckles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of stuff that was going on when we were kids that it wasn't really true. So no, not at all. So when you get an adjustment, inflammatory chemicals, like the chemicals that are released to cause inflammation, drastically drop. So they measure it after an adjustment, and it's like, instantly way less. And again, like I was saying before, it's not going to last forever, but it is an opportunity for your body to experience less inflammation.
Feel good for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That's super tough.
It's deep, dude. We can get into, I'm sure it's probably real deep, everything that you know.
Yeah, I learned a lot from you today, man. Seriously, I learned a lot just sitting here.
I need to schedule an appointment.
Good, I'm glad.
Absolutely.
I learned a lot from you too. Listen to the podcast.
Yeah,
having your guests on.
it,
Yeah, for sure. Again, I love it. Love the logo. Love what you're doing. You have my guy Russ on, so.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, he's
Seriously,
awesome.
yeah. Dang. That was deep, man.
Is there anything else you want to say? People can find you at, follow you, location.
Yeah, Philly Chiro on Instagram. Feeling good feels good is the motto, and really, to me, a lot of the stuff that you all talk about, where everybody deserves to feel good, no matter what you went through, no matter what you've been through, and it doesn't have to be hard, right? So bringing ease to people, helping them feel good. All you gotta do is give us a call, right?
Get a consultation and
you can start tomorrow.
So you do you take insurance too?
We don't take insurance.
No insurance, okay.
We do help people get reimbursed by their insurance, so you can submit a receipt, and
so that's on them, but you'll help through the process.
Yeah, we'll send them all the paperwork they need. They call the insurance, but insurance, what happens is they dictate the type of service that you can provide, and
you can't give somebody.
I can't just operate.
Can't treat them the right way.
Exactly, I can't treat them the right way when I'm insurance. So I understand that people have to have insurance, so that's why we provide those bills to help them out a little bit. But no, we don't take insurance directly.
Well, we appreciate you coming on,
Appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, we learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
Now I know why that old head upstate used to call Frankie Chiro, because he was the provider from the hands, man. Appreciate you for
I need to get my back cracked right now.
Appreciate you for coming
Oh
on,
yeah,
man.
no problem. Thanks for
Great
having
time.
me. Keep doing your work. I love following you guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Feels good to feel good.
That's right.